Ladies and gentlemen, all rise for the RankKing's court.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Yeah, I almost started it again. I almost did.
I didn't say a fucking thing.
You can tell by your facial structures.
Hey, why are you frozen?
Why am on Twitch? Am I?
Oh, no.
Did you start this like an hour ago?
No. What's happening?
He fucking started the stream like an hour ago.
No, I didn't.
Why is it?
6 minutes ago.
Why is it 6 minutes? Oh, because I'm frozen.
Yeah, why are you frozen?
I don't know. Fix it. I look like shit.
I'm trying.
Oy, oy, oy.
I was like, I'm not looking down currently.
There you go.
Okay, Austin, you keep going.
Okay.
Is it good? Yeah.
Well-
You scared me when you said 6 hours ago. I was like, what?
Welcome, everyone, to the RankKing's court. We are here Tuesday, 6:30
What a
on
forger.
Twitch. Not frozen, hopefully fresh. Who knows, man? Shout out to a little bit of ancient rivalry I have with Wendy. So, it's not frozen. I love that shit.
You say ancient, but it's still pretty common occurrence, man.
It's probably like every other episode she gets mentioned on here.
Well, you figure as much. But yes, we are here again, and we have a big topic of discussion for tonight as it pertains to a not current but later event that is all of which we love.
There you go.
Which would be the NFL draft.
Yes, sir.
Before we do that, we have to talk about last week. And before we do that, where are you boys currently?
The RankKing's court is on the clock live today from the Union Fitness Studios located on the North Shore of
Just beat him. Just beat him.
Well, no, I think
That's not me.
do you have the show on? There we go. No, it's bad now. I think you did. Located on the North Shore of Pittsburgh, Union Fitness is more than a traditional gym. Is a place where you can transform yourself inside and out with a variety of classes based around fitness, yoga, strength, and performance training. At Union Fitness, they believe it is their duty to hold themselves and their clients to a higher standard. They practice what they preach and uphold the values that make Union Fitness the community that it is. Go to unionfitness.com today to sign up for a consultation. Through Union, there is strength. Also, I would like to say shout out to Miss Morgan Marie for a Tier 1 sub that was gifted, which
job,
means that
Pete.
now
Good job.
she gets all of these wonderful emotes. Yay
Oh,
for the
yeah,
Vose
look at those.
Bros.
Look at all this.
Ugly ass mustache.
It's back. You can't tell.
It's so bad, Austin. His mustache is so bad. Sorry, Morgan. It's so terrible.
Well, I mean, hopefully, a lot of people love to clean up their act, but hopefully he can clean up the mustache. Who knows, man?
Doubt it.
It's all for whatever happens.
You just can't grow one.
So let's talk about last week, our week of Alien that we discussed. Obviously, we had our weird, comical Alien draft that occurred. I think
So
it's
good.
safe to say that,
That I
great
won.
content for that.
I won.
That
You won what?
The
came in
draft.
third place.
He won third place,
I
Austin.
saved-
We can agree
I
on that.
saved the Earth. Saved the planet.
You rip off ET. You ripped off ET. basically with long years.
No, I thought that
But
was one of
yes,
the better ones, man.
Yeah,
that was really
a fun
good.
one. It was a fun one.
It's amazing how creative chaos can occur when something was supposed to be something and it turned out to be something completely different. So, but yes, I think Deke won that one. It's hard to argue when you have Jesus Christ and
Thank
Eater
you.
of Worlds. I'll be the first to admit that I probably should have been a little bit more specific with the draft, but you know what?
You're the fucking ranking.
I am true. That is true. So let's say that. I'm just staring at that ugly Milwaukee Bucks logo on the damn basketball.
Oh, I was like, that's behind me, I think. Oh, yeah. It's ugly. Take it down.
So take it all down. I don't think we had too many issues with the actual ranking itself, right, Bo?
No, not that I haven't heard anything. Mac and me should have been on there, in my opinion. But that's
again,
I
the
don't think you ever saw that.
Such an idiot.
And my Uncle the Alien is on YouTube, so if you feel like watching it, you could recap it for next week.
I'm gonna go home and watch Hubie Halloween again, so I'm good, sir. Thank you, though.
You didn't even have it. You didn't even draft that one.
I didn't, for good purposes, because I won.
How many times have you
bad?
I looked at my Netflix research, and it only has it in there as I watched it on that night. So I watched it last week. I don't know why it doesn't have it in there every single time I've watched it. I don't know if you have to watch it start to finish. That might be it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time I fall asleep, I don't finish it. I would say I've probably seen the movie upwards of 40 times, 30 or 40. Like, I just put it on. I just put it on.
It's like Your Office. You
Yes.
just throw that on there.
Like, is it that good, or is it like a, drown noise out while I sleep kind of thing, so I'm not listening to my blood?
It is a terrible movie, technically. But I adore the whodunit aspect. I love that it's Halloween. It is, like, over-the-top Halloween. And I love all of Adam Sandler's universe of characters. And the kid from Stranger Things is in it, so.
Oh, that's right. He was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look at Metalhead Mora gifting subscriptions out.
Oh, shit.
Shout out to Metalhead Mora.
Metalhead Mora drops in a Grind Project sub there. And let's not even go there. I'm not trying to get all hot and bothered. Wow. Miss Morgan Reese says that Austin because imagine Vo with his mustache and his velo. Wow.
Yeah.
He needs a mullet in order for it to work, and I just don't think he's going to go that length to do it. It'd be amazing if he did, but, I am me and he.
I almost had it. I was close to a mullet before.
I hate him, Austin. He's dead to me.
But, yes, let's discuss probably something that I have been looking forward since the end of the last one last year, which, if you have not checked that out, go to our Facebook page and look at that.
Did you watch that back at all, Us?
Yes.
I did too.
It doesn't matter that I started when I said, oh my God, the Packers, look, it's Jordan Love. Why the hell is Jordan Love there? And it sparked one of the craziest reactions, I think, to us as a whole.
It was so bad and so funny on so many levels. And you're just like, why is Jordan Love there? We're like, what? Whoa.
It was like, but yes, that is still up on our Facebook page. So check that out. It is amazing. All the technical work for Josh and how he did that. And I'm very impressed that we had Damon Arnett on there, because that was pretty incredible that he even went in the first round.
I sent him the top 100 prospects this year. It feels like I told him he could stop after 60, because this year feels more solidified for two reasons. One, there are a few players on the outskirts, but a majority of these players deserve to be first-round picks. Two, the Seattle Seahawks don't have a first-round pick. So there's no way that they can fuck it up either. Oh, wow. Malik is in the chat, says, came here to hear Vo's expert draft opinion. What a joke. Greg Malik in the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Greg, I'm here.
You're here?
I'm here. I'm always here.
But I will say, yes, we've done how many, first of all, mock drafts? I have counted
1 trillion.
66 so far. that I have made and mock out, which has been updated. It looks a lot sleeker, a lot better. The only problem is that you have to save like almost every 5 picks because the app shuts you out after a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But yes, great little tool to use whenever you're trying to make a mock draft, or you could use the Draft Network as well, which I know a lot of people do. But yes, gentlemen, the NFL draft is this Thursday, and Hawaiian is on. The hair is cut because this is one of my most favorite times of the year to see prospects that we have known probably, maybe one.
3-4 years for Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
I was going to say one that we've like kind of known maybe since like high school, trying to like look at stats and everything now into college.
Keep in mind, Justin Fields was on Netflix's QB1.
Mm-hmm.
So that I've known him since high school too. And Greg writes in, Professor Moorhead, where's your bow tie? This is the Rank King. I don't know who Professor Moorhead is today. Do you,
guy.
Austin? Yeah, do you, Vo?
Take my special medicine in order to have that happen. So
If you don't make a goddamn TikTok of you in normal clothes with a bottle that says Professor Serum, and
Yes.
you have to now. You have to. That is genius.
maybe that'll happen. Who knows?
Oh, it will.
But yes, gentlemen, draft is this Thursday. Very, 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 very excited. And this isn't just going to be on the 2020 draft, 2020 draft, 2021 draft. This will be for a lot of what the NFL draft has brought to us with the amount of joy, controversy, throwing stuff at the TV whenever the Steelers take a person that was 2 rounds back that should have been in 2 rounds back.
Shout out
Looking
Artie
at
Burns.
you, Edmund, Artie Burns, bitch ass. But yes, let us start it off with our first radical ranking. So the first radical ranking we're going to get into is one of my favorite things to ever talk about with the draft, and that is the draft bus.
Mm-hmm.
The bus that how players are perceived, that they're going to be fantastic. Look how crazy they were in college, and they get to the NFL and they suck ass.
Not titties.
Like,
ass.
titties, ass.
Milk titties.
No,
I said not titties.
Milk titties.
Who you calling?
no more milk titties. No more milk titties.
You don't remember? That was like 2 weeks ago.
I do. It's a joke. Shut up. It's
I
Austin's
made this
show.
a little bit more difficult on myself because not only did I make it one position each, I also made it one team each and also one different year. Correct. Yes. So I did
No,
double
you're
check
fine.
real-
You're fine. There's a lot of things. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense. Looking at your original, there was a ton I was going to bring up, and so now I'm more happy knowing the kind of rules around it. So, because I saw a glance of it, there's some that I didn't see correctly. Vo tries his best to hide it.
He does try, doesn't he?
That's all I can
at
ask
least-
for.
all
so
I do.
let's start off with our number 5 and our most recent wide receiver, Kevin White.
West Virginia boy, giant man, taken I believe 7th overall, if I'm not mistaken, there by the Chicago Bears in 2015, and I believe he played a preseason game.
That's it.
Yes.
That's
let
all
me
he's-
just put
that's
out.
all he's played.
Let me put out his thing right now.
Yes.
When he was in West Virginia, his senior season finished with almost 1,500 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns. Right. So he caught 25 passes in the NFL. 25.
That's only 25 more than I've caught, so
True,
it's not
but
that far off.
Yeah, not far behind.
I will say right now, he did finish 2020 on the 49ers practice squad.
So Greg writes in, not a bust, shouldn't have been drafted high in the first place. I commented back, which makes him a bust. It's not his fault that he was taken that high, but he's a bust.
Let me just read off a list of receivers that were taken later than him.
Yeah, this is a tough class to swallow for the Bears.
I won't only say 2. I was going to say 3, but your hatred for the third makes it unrelenting.
Say them all. Say them all, damn it.
The one I'll start off with hatred first, Devontae Parker.
Sucks.
Taken behind Kevin White. Stephon Diggs was taken behind Kevin White. And finally,
also from West Virginia.
Seattle boy that is a boomer bust sometimes, Tyler Lockett was taken behind Kevin White.
Scored 70 points and no points.
Yeah. So it's weird. It's almost weird to see a receiver of that caliber in college just basically wash out. And a lot of this, I also decided to skip over many injury concerns and drug problems because I thought that would just maybe add to that I didn't want.
Yeah. He did have injury concerns, but it wasn't like they were the end-all, be-all. He was also bad at football.
Exactly. So Kevin White, wide receiver, Chicago in 2015. Number 4, Vernon Golston, edge rusher. Jets 2008.
So that's the interesting thing about edge rushers, right? The top ones basically always work out. So it's kind of tough to find a guy. So I actually had to dig in and look this up there because another one that I looked up was Steve Entman or whatever. But tell me about this guy, Oz.
Man, he just did not have – there was a lot of potential with him. And it just didn't pan out, man. Like I think he went he went very high. I can't remember
6 overall.
Exactly. 6 overall, and I think he had 3 sacks total on the season. So not a lot of great compromise with that. And I think he ended up getting replaced literally a year later. So not really good prospect to understand getting taken in the top 10 alone. But then basically put into like a second line scenario just a year later.
Yep. I mean, 6 overall, the Jets are just great at ruining things. Was he the guy, Greg, comment in there, was he the guy that, I believe, Austin, he was the guy that, because it was like the guy that I'm going to bring up at the end of it all. I believe Vernon Golston was the guy that just trained for combine events. Greg, am I wrong on that? Where he just did the 40 and just did certain things, because this other guy did too, but I think he just did that because he says he got drafted by a combine number. So, Austin, I believe he's the guy that, how do I get drafted high? I learned how to do the long jump, and I learned how to do the high jump and things like that.
Right. Do we think that's I mean, that's also a thing too. Do you do more or less combine workouts with this to improve yourself? Because either way, it can be seen as sort of like a crutch, so to speak. If you don't do them, it can be seen as a crutch of you doing them and they end up sucking. So
always do the combine works out. That's where, you know what, he got more money than I'll ever make. So
that's true. Let's hit our oldest entry, and I hope I'm saying this right. Steve Nyhaus, defensive tackle, Seattle, 1976.
You're gonna have to tell me about this guy.
Yeah, well, it won't be.
We don't know him.
From what I read about him, it's not. He was so. It was the franchise's first ever draft pick. So this was Seattle's first ever franchise pick, D.
That's so funny.
He appeared in just 36 games for Seattle.
4 seasons.
4 seasons.
Ugh. Wow.
And man, I gotta tell you,
he was second player taken in the NFL draft that year.
And he ended up. So this is the guy. He ended up being dropped off the first string by his second year.
Jesus.
So if you ever wonder why Seattle was one of the worst drafters
for so long, yeah, it's the curse of Nyhaus.
Yeah, man, I couldn't believe that. I don't think he recorded a single sack at all. His first year.
In the chat, Greg says poor Chipper, and then Chip comes back and says LOL. So what's up, Dad? Yeah, this was a tough one. Hey, Legion of Boom.
They should have just drafted Rudy.
Okay. That's a really, really good job tying yourself into that one. I love you for that.
I had to throw that in there.
Rudy starts with an R, and this next person's
Oh.
name,
See?
the last name, however, also starts with an R. Number 2, Trent Richardson, running back, Cleveland, 2012.
Yep.
What could have been, right? What could have been? I don't know, man. Like, I really wanted some success out of this kid. And obviously he found it a little bit with the XFL and everything that went along. Like, he was decent, but he wasn't like, where did he get taken? Like, he got taken what?
Teams come. Trent Richardson, what'd he go? 3,
He
yeah.
went overall. He just, and it's one thing because then the Colts got him for a first round off the Browns, and then he was a bust for the Colts. So the reason he's up so high at number 2 teams, 2 just double busts. I guess you could call it double busts. Browns just they've been getting better. The Browns have been getting better at drafting, but man, they were they might be right up there with Seattle. I'm not entirely sure what happened. How did that guy that you guys took first round last year? How did he ever pan out? I don't know if he ever did anything.
No. I think he's a middle linebacker. Let me look at his name because I still to this day don't give a shit. Seattle took Jordan Brooks, linebacker. It says here it was a fucking terrible pick. Games started 6, games played 14. He had 0 stats. He had 2 passes defended, 35 solo tackles, 22 assisted tackles, 2 tackles for loss. So, like, good for somebody you could find in the 3rd round.
Yeah. I just it was funny seeing your reaction zoomed in after.
Not a big fan.
It's just not good, man. And hopefully they'll figure it out in the 2nd round this year, because they're gonna go there in order to keep Russell Wilson happy. They will have to go offensive tackle, but which one will be there, I have no idea. What I do know is our number 1 draft bust selection. This comes as no surprise for me anyway. Quarterback Ryan Leaf, 1998 San Diego Chargers.
It's tough that you're doing one position because Jamarcus Russell was taken
Yeah,
first, but I think the fact that Ryan Leaf and Peyton Manning were so tied together helps.
Yes. The fact that he was number 2, I mean, you could argue Jamarcus Russell number 1. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But when you a 14 to 36 touchdown to interception ratio, the number 2 overall pick, it's not good, man. I don't get it. And like I said, the Manning legacy tied within it sucks even more with it.
Yeah.
So.
Some one honorable mention. So just some comments coming in. Greg had said the last time anyone will draft a running back in the top 5 for Trent Richardson, and I tossed some names out, and he said exceptions. Dennis said DeBrickashaw Ferguson, huge bust. He said Hinkle McCringleberry will never live up to his true potential. And Greg said, I'm stunned you didn't throw Kajana Carter, which would have been an amazing, or Ackley Smith dagger in there as an ode to Keaton for the Bengals. But the other name that I want to toss out there that I had to show Votash today is Tony Mandarich. Tony Mandarich, taken 2nd overall in 1989 by the Packers, was just a giant steroid-using giant MFer lineman. One of the worst picks. Yeah, the Incredible Bulk is what they named him. And
that's a good nickname.
It is. It's actually a hard nickname, except the fact that he was in the league for 6 years and is shit at football. So just want to throw that one out there.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I wanted to keep
yeah.
injuries and drug and alcohol abuse ones out, because he did have like a huge steroid problem and a drug and alcohol problem. So
I think the Boz is another honorable mention.
Manziel.
Yeah,
Vo said Manziel.
Again, like, I would have believed if he would have went to any other team.
Yeah.
Cleveland
was damning there.
And the fact of the matter that Dallas almost took him, and Jerry Jones had to be talked out of it by his son to take. He's like he was like their Pro Bowl tackle, I think, that they took instead of Johnny Manziel that year. But yeah, Jerry Jones was hell bent on actually drafting Johnny Manziel, which I would have liked it. I would have wanted to see where it would have went.
Yeah.
But when you go to Cleveland and then you and Josh Gordon show up high late on a jet to practice, like it does not send the greatest notion to you. Yeah, those are my top draft busts, and we will move on to our second radical ranking.
And Foringer's brother says Zach Martin. Add him to the list on that one too.
Well, yeah, Zach Martin. That was the tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead. We're back. All right. The second radical ranking. This one's controversial, and it's gonna be, but I firmly believe with some of this evidence in front of me that it's going to be interesting.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
These are the top prospect schools.
Yeah.
It's not going to be on here, and a lot of people are going to be upset about it. Tough shit. This is how it goes. So let's start off. I'm going to name some school, and then what I want to do is I'm going to give you guys a thing, little game to play.
Let's do it.
So number 5, the top prospect schools at number 5, Florida. Now, it says here how many NFL draft picks since 2000 they have had, and how many first rounders they have. So,
first rounders since 2010, you said?
2000.
2000. Wow, fuck. Draft picks. I mean, I'll start counting. So there's, I believe it's where Joe Hayden went to school, if I'm not crazy. I can't see the comments right now. If you want to name them off,
All right. So
you're on comment duty, buddy.
Denny redeemed karaoke time, and he says Austin has to talk as if he's asking questions for the next 30 seconds.
I don't hate that at all because we're talking for the next 30 seconds. No, it's fine. I would say with Florida, so the names I can think of right now that were drafted from Florida, Tim Tebow, obviously. I believe Joe Hayden. I know Aaron Hernandez. Pouncey. Who else was on that crazy team? Cam Newton doesn't count. There's a wide receiver I can't think of. There's a couple other cornerbacks and stuff like that. First round, I'm going to say 4.
Since 2000?
Yeah, in the first round from Florida. I don't know. Oh, no, it's got to be higher than that. I'll say 8, and then overall, I'll say 23. 8 and 23.
I'll go with first round. We'll go with 10, and we'll go with 27.
Okay, so I'll be clear on this before we go further, but it was NFL draft picks since 2000.
Oh.
That is 109.
Okay, so a few more.
Oh, yeah. Just a couple more.
The amount of first rounder picks that they have had since 2000.
But I thought.
24.
Ah, okay. So we just swapped them, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. We're just off a little
The only
bit.
one that you left off, D, which, I mean, you said Pouncey, Hernandez.
Both Pouncey's, Hernandez, Tim Tebow, Joe Hayden. There was my dude that got taken by the Jacksonville Jaguars 2 years ago, C.J. Henderson. There was Percy Harvin. I can't think of many more past that, bud.
Trent Brown was the one. That Trent Brown. This one only lists a certain amount of people, but yeah, it gave Mike Pouncey, Trent Brown, Aaron Hernandez, C.J. Henderson. Number 4 for the top prospect school, the Miami Hurricanes.
God. Since 2000.
NFL draft picks since 2000. and then how many first rounders they have had.
Oh, man. So draft picks, I'm just going to say 169 because it's hysterical. First rounders that came out of Miami. I believe Ed Reed. Well, at least names I can name that are big. Him, Jeremy Shockey, Patrick Willis, I believe, for the 49ers came out of that regime, but I could be crazy and wrong on that one. There's so many names out of that early group.
Sean Taylor?
Sean Taylor, no, he went to Penn. Oh, wait, Sean Taylor, yes, I'm sorry. I thought for some reason Sean Lee, he just retired. That's an apology.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to look at the list you have up in front of me because that's the screen I'm looking at. Other Miami Hurricane guys. The quarterback that went to the Detroit Lions that was 2 years out too early. I can't think of his name. Not many receivers come out of there, to be honest with you, that I can think of. I don't know. I'm going to go with 29 first-rounders.
Okay.
We'll go with 132 and 19 first-rounders.
It's got to be more.
Huh?
The last one was 24. It has to be more first-rounders.
Doesn't have to be.
Fucking weirdo.
The
I
amount
just
of
like the number 19.
Good.
The NFL draft picks since 2000 for the Hurricanes, 119. And the first rounders, 30. The one off again, D. You're one off.
Not mad at that at all.
Some notable names: Jimmy Graham, Lamar Miller, and Olivier Vernon. So, number
Jimmy
3.
Graham. I forgot about that. Fuck.
Yep. Number 3, LSU Tigers. So the amount of draft picks since 2000 and the amount of first rounders.
I'm so sorry. I'm working on a work issue. What is the college, Oz?
It's LSU.
LSU. Oh, my God. So Patrick Peterson, Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Joe Burrow. You have Justin Jefferson. You come in from the defensive side of that team. There's a lot of guys that I find out after the fact are LSU Tigers, to be honest with you. I'm going to go with 32 first-rounders, $173 all time.
We'll go with 36 first-rounders and 152 all time.
So since 2000, the amount of draft picks that they have had has been 126. And the amount of first rounders, 30.
Not bad.
30
Not bad.
It gives one infamous honorable mention and one honorable mention. Jamarcus Russell obviously being the distasteful, dishonorable mention, and Joe Burrow being the honorable mention. So, number 2, Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I figured this was going to be pretty high on it. Every person that's ever played football, basically.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, well, that's a good one, too. Okay, I do no longer have to do the work thing, so I think we should be okay. Wow. First rounders, I'm going to guess 37.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I'm going to guess 39. Fucking fraud.
See, watch you be right.
Overall, I'm going to say 202.
Say 37 and...
I'm going to say 203. Hold on. 203.
203 and 191.
The amount of NFL draft picks since 2000 for the Alabama Crimson Tide, 127. 127.
Little high.
First rounders?
No. That was
Total. I was going to say, holy shit.
That's a lot of first rounders. That's like all their teams.
And the amount of first rounders they have had, 31. 31 first rounders for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Okay. It's pretty impressive.
Got to give it to the We are. Nice one. Number 1, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, that's got to be it. Bosa, Bosa. Dwayne Haskins clearly coming out of there. You got guys like Zeke. You got a ton of linemen, a ton of defensive linemen, ton of secondary pieces. Give me 148 all time, and give me what was the last first rounders?
31, I think.
I'm gonna do 34.
That's a good guess. First rounders, we'll go with 29
All right.
first rounders and 117.
Oh, Tuckin' Fipo comes in with the tier 1 sub. Did we say that yet?
I don't think we
My Tuckin' guy. See what I did there? Whew. All right. Slippery Rock number 1, 400 says. I don't know about that.
He also says bunch of scrubs out of Ohio State. I agree.
Who's
agree.
right, Us?
The amount of draft picks since 2000, 141. 100.
I think I got that right.
I don't think you got that
I think I got that right. I think I got that right.
Something about 203 I heard over there. I'm not entirely
That was
sure.
Alabama.
That was Alabama, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Jackass.
First rounders,
Thank you, buddy.
also 31.
Mm.
31 first rounders.
So I was close.
I said 32. I was closer.
You're over. Can't go over. It's like Price is Right.
No, it's not at all.
Including 3 who found themselves first rounders last year: Chase Young, Jeff Okudah, and Damon Arnett.
Surprisingly.
Clemson is not on here. I know.
They shouldn't be.
I know they shouldn't, but a lot of people, me myself, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take Texas A&M and Johnny Manziel and that drug problem. I'm gonna shoot all them balls down the field.
What the
Where?
fuck did that have to do with Clemson?
That's what they sound like in Clemson, I guess.
No. That's what they sound like at Texas A&M.
That's what I'm saying. Like, my thing, I would put Texas A&M on here.
So give me the top 5 again, Os, in the order here, because there's some schools I'm going to toss out. Did you do research past the 5, just out of curiosity?
I did a little bit. We had, well, I'll run through the 5 first. So Florida
Yes.
Gators at 5, Miami Hurricanes at 4,
Yes.
LSU Tigers 3, Crimson Tide 2, Buckeyes 1.
The
I'll just-
Ohio State Buckeyes.
I'll go through the what it says here for the top.
So Penn
10.
State sucks ass. I agree.
6 was Georgia Bulldogs.
Cool with that.
109 picks and 24 first rounders. Number 7, USC.
Yeah.
109 picks
Yeah.
and 24 first rounders.
Why don't you full screen that?
Florida State at number 8, 109 and 24. Number 9, Oklahoma, 101 and 16 first rounders. And finally, Michigan at
That's
10.
what. Yeah, Michigan was one I was going to say. And
Then
14.
Pitt's at number 11. They gotta be.
can you name 4 guys from the Pitt school in the NFL right now?
Larry
Clemson
Fitzgerald,
13, by the way. Penn
Aaron
State-
Donald, and Nathan Peterman.
That's 3, and Nathan Peterman is technically not in the fucking NFL. so-
Andy Lee, punter.
Jesus Christ, Austin. This guy.
Texas A&M is at 23. I'm not sure I agree with that, but it's whatever.
Name 4 people in the NFL from Texas A&M.
Well, obviously Manziel was, but I can't.
Can you delete those comments, Phil? Let's see if you know how to do it.
Mike
I mean,
Evans?
don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, I won't. I still won't try this.
I don't know how to do
Mike
that.
Evans is the most that I remember, so because he was always the one catching the domes. So, but yeah, those are my top prospect schools,
Love it.
and let's move on to what I believe will be a much simpler, hopefully, debate.
What up, Wylime?
We're back, Austin.
Okay, I couldn't see you. I couldn't see a thumb there, son.
I had my thumb up.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, but you got to do it in the fucking.
I did.
You can't see that from there. You have a little screen that shows you what Austin can see, and if you can't see
like,
something on
oh,
that
yeah, I guess you
screen,
can't.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, most exciting NFL draft and why? I think this one is a little bit interesting because I don't know how long you guys have been watching drafts since you're obviously a little bit older than I am, but started watching probably about actually 5 years ago for the draft. And then I went back and checked out old drafts and how they went and everything. And you know what? I think that each one of us might have a different one, but
I would hope so.
I would hope so too.
There's been 70 iterations of this song, bish.
So we can do this again where they decide the order, or one of us can volunteer. I'd be willing to go if anybody.
No, go first, bro.
I will take the draft class in which we got our Hall of Fame quarterback, the 2004 draft class.
Wonderful pick.
A great amount of quarterback prospects. You obviously had Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning with that situation that went down. Eli was a little bitch boy and didn't want to play for San Diego Chargers, my ass.
We wanted Rivers. The Giants wanted Big Ben, man.
Phillip Rivers also wanted 400 children, but that doesn't help.
Congrats on the sex.
It's true. I mean, same thing can be said about Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think every team he goes to, he has a different kid. He's just all right, new kid, new team, here we go.
I don't know if I can confirm that, but that is an interesting take that I hope is true.
I hope so. But yeah, I mean, even with let's say we take away the quarterbacks, we also had Larry Fitzgerald, Vince Wilfork, Jared Allen, and the late Sean Taylor. All things that made this draft class just incredible. And like I said, might be a little bit biased for picking the one that we had our Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, the one that makes us happy on the inside.
Yeah.
Now we're okay, he's almost like a rash. All right, you were nice, but can you go away now? We're trying to win now, boy. So I will say 2004.
You're up, Bo, unless you want me to go.
Go ahead.
So the best draft class in NFL history that I was obviously not alive for. I'll do one that I'm alive for and one that I'm not alive for. So I'm going to do my not alive for, then I'm going to let you go, then I'm going to come back with my alive for, so I don't steal yours. The greatest NFL draft of all time is the 1983 Elway to Marino draft. Just to read you some of the names here. So John Elway went first the entire time this was going off, and this is where we obviously got a ton of other situation here as a Steelers fan alone. But John Elway goes, which was just a bona fide stud pick to the Baltimore Colts, but they have to trade him because Elway sits out, so another one of that. Todd Blackledge comes out of Penn State. Jim Kelly, who didn't get picked by Buffalo with their first pick and then got picked again. You got Tony Eason. All of these guys, Ken O'Brien, going in front of the greatest quarterback in University of Pittsburgh history, Dan Marino, to the Miami Dolphins at 27. That draft, I mean, you just have some absolute stud quarterbacks coming out of there, franchise-chasing dudes, and it is the Elway and Marino documentary is one of the greatest 30 for 30s.
That's true. Yeah, it's the same thing with that, right? That's kind of what he was that's what Eli Manning was compared to for a long time, was John Elway, because he was I'm not playing for you. Draft me. I don't give. I'm not playing for you.
He said, "I'll go play for the Yankees, bro."
So 1981. Did you give your
83?
Alive? Okay, yeah, 1983. Did you give your one that you were alive for?
No, I'm gonna let Voga so I don't steal his in the off chance that it's there, and then I have it available, obviously.
Okay. Oh, well, Austin actually stole mine.
Oh.
2004 draft. But I'd say the second, but the second one is 2001's draft.
Why is that?
Has Drew Brees, Reggie Wayne, Steve Smith Sr., and then Google tells me there's 34 Pro Bowlers.
Jesus.
And it has LT.
And it has LT.
LT.
Not a bad one at all.
Yeah. So but 2004 was my favorite because Larry Fitzgerald, probably my favorite player of all time.
Yeah.
Ben, Phillip Rivers, everyone.
Last year, right?
What's that?
This has to be Larry's last year, right? Like,
I
there's-
would be surprised if he plays this year at this state because they just signed DeAndre Hopkins. They have A.J. Green.
They do have AJ Green.
He has an interesting streak that I still believe is alive where he's caught a pass in so many consecutive games that they need to just throw him the ball once. I think he's holding on for some record stuff, but I don't see him actually benefiting the team past the locker room just due to the talent there and his age.
Well, it's the same ideology as the Frank Gore thing, right? Like, you're just holding out to try and make your...
See how long you can do it, man.
Exactly. I mean, like, props to them. I mean, like, you know, they're no Tom Brady with it, but then again, like, they're not getting, like, crushed with the ball or having to catch.
Yeah.
'Cause
But he still performs, though.
He has more interceptions or more tackles than he does drops, which is the craziest stat in NFL history. My favorite draft that I was alive for is very clearly, I think this is the easiest one to select, the 2017 draft that has absolutely shaped the NFL. Just to name some names here, that is the terrible Mitchell Trubisky pick, but that is Myles Garrett, that is Leonard Fournette, that is Jamal Adams, Christian McCaffrey, Patrick Mahomes, Marshawn Lattimore, Deshaun Watson, Marlon Humphrey, Evan Ingram, Tre'Davious White, T.J. Watt, Budda Baker, Dalvin Cook. You're getting into Juju Smith-Schuster, Alvin Kamara, arguably the greatest running back draft of all time with Kareem Hunt, Chris Carson, I believe Austin Eckler, Kenny Golladay, James Conner, Eddie Jackson for the Bears, Tariq Cohen. I could go on for hours about this draft alone. This is the most influential draft into my fandom of fantasy football and sports, especially with George Kittle going in the 5th round.
Yeah, that's still insane, right? Like, but, you know, San Francisco will probably take Kyle Pitts. But yeah, I think we all did. But that wasn't necessarily a competition.
Well, I won, but yeah, that was fair.
But you could also go most exciting NFL draft was probably last year's because it was all virtual. That was something new, if you want to look at it that way.
That is a really good point. I thought that they did well with the virtual loss.
Yeah, and like I said, I was excited about, like, I had a chance to potentially go to the draft, and then when I found out it was the draft experience, which is all these things of like, hey, here's a field goal. You want to kick the field goal, Sonny? Or here's a patch of green. Like, can you run a 40? Like, it seemed like those types of, like, games that you would bring your kid to.
Yeah.
For, like, and I was like, well, I'm a goddamn grown man, and I'm not doing that. So, but it turns out that you actually had to be invited, which is all, like, personnel, coaches, techs. So hopefully COVID's over so I can – because that really just blew because it was like the closest draft that probably I could have went to. So
400 says the 04 draft is the best one. So
I feel like it has to be.
I
I guess Austin wins that one.
No, the 2017. I had 2 drafts, so
That's true. You cheated.
I did.
We will take a quick
Yes,
commercial,
sir.
and we will be right back with the most exciting part of this show.
Austin sings a song.
Hi, I'm Josh. I like pizza. Do you like pizza?
When the moon heats your eyes like a big pizza pie.
We've let it coagulate. Show Greg, king of coagulation there.
Coagulation is key.
Homemade Greek ranch.
Do you like watching people eat pizza? Help me, because I'm on the quest to find the best pizza in Pittsburgh.
Hand-forged pizza. Bit of Vici. That's amore.
Make sure you're sending in your recommendations for the best pizza in Pittsburgh, because I'm going to go, I'm going to try it, I'm going to hold it to my standards.
It's the aftertaste is the barf. Is where the barf comes
Oh,
in.
yeah.
I agree. It's bomb pizza.
Can your favorite pizza place pass the test? Find out.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Vault, a weekly show from Thoughts from the Bench that takes a look back at some of the best and worst sports jerseys of all time.
So, I looked up what a Canuck was. Ben, you're gonna shit yourself. What a fucking silly country.
Here comes the
Wow.
Crimson Chin.
No. You sound like the John Candy in a fucking snapshot.
That's Uncle Buck.
I have an irrational fear of alligators and crocodiles. I hate them.
Wait, what? Of like, okay, this school who looks like they're in High School Musical just came and balled out. So yeah, they're not drinking Gatorade or water on the sidelines. They just got bottles of Barbicide and they're just fucking tanking them down, dude. Like that guy who's gone and said, "Okay, where's the keg at?" You know, like that type of guy.
Yeah.
Like
He's a glue guy. He's a glue guy.
Okay, he's a glue guy.
I want to show off the human goose that is Mike Glennon.
Oh my god, he is a goose!
They're like mom jeans with the elastic on top. Like, I don't...
I'm okay. I'm okay. He's a man of the people. He's in with the students at games and sporting events. He's posing with the frat boys. He's getting pumped up, literally and metaphorically speaking, for every event. He is Dartmouth.
What?
That was really funny.
Football's the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell.
JJ Watt, bring it on over, pal. Bring it on over. Golgi apparatus, Golgi bodies, endoplasmic reticulum. I'm just naming off science shit now.
Unmute the mics with the thumbs up. Let's go mute the mics.
Mute the mics? Mute the mics. Mute the mics. Yeah, mute the mics.
Unmuted.
So, I gave this draft, this specific ranking, on our New Year's Spectacular, sort of. It was a little of in between, more or less predictions of the 2021-2022 season. So, this is my lastly updated top 10 2021 NFL draft predictions.
Here we go.
Greg, look alive.
These are hot takes. Try them as you may, but this is what I believe. Some of these are quite obvious, and that's why they're a little bit lower. But who knows? Let's start off with number 10, the Demolisher. Just overall badass. Number 10, Kyle Pitts will be drafted in the top 5. A lot of people believe that if 4 quarterbacks go, then he could sneak to Miami. But I firmly believe that Kyle Pitts will be taken by one of those top 5 teams.
I don't disagree with this, unless who refers to Kyle Pitts as a demolisher or a demolition exactly.
I was going to ask if that was actually his nickname.
It's not.
You just made it up?
I would call him the Pitmaster. I don't hate it. His best chance of getting in the top 5 is Atlanta. If Atlanta trades out for a quarterback-needy team such as New England, it would be interesting to see what happens when the Bengals are up. Yep. But I don't hate it. I mean, he's arguably the best talent in this outside of Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he's the top tight end prospect since Vernon Davis. The kid is a literal wide receiver built as a tight end, just jacked. He's huge.
Ooh, 500 coming in from 400. Thank you for the bits, brother.
Thanks, 400.
Thank you. And with those bits, we'll move on. We've mentioned the Bengals, our number 9. The Bengals take Marshall, not Chase.
Yeah, I'm going to need a little explanation on this one.
Not in the first round. I want to make that very much clear.
You said it. What's the screen show? Instead of Chase.
Right. Because a lot of people seem to be torn when the number 5 pick comes up. Let's say that Kyle Pitts does get taken by Atlanta. They don't trade out. So now Bengals have a decision, Penei Sewell or Jamar Chase. The best case scenario, because they want a receiver that is familiar with Joe Burrow, that knows his work. why the hell wouldn't you take the best tackle now and then take Terrace Marshall Jr. in the second round? I firmly believe that. I think he is his highest floor or his highest ceiling is definitely like those end picks of the first round. But if he sneaks into the second, this is the Bengals pick. It has to be. But yeah, I argue with this with my brother all the time. He's a massive Bengals fan, and he is in favor of Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell.
Now he is.
And all I have
He's
to say,
changed his tone quite heavily.
and all I have to say is, look at the scar. Look at the scar.
Yep. Frost comes in with the posture check. What up, Frost? Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, I think Terrence Marshall definitely has the pedigree to be gone by their second-round pick. The thing that would be put on the screen right now would lead the casual viewer to believe that they're taking Marshall at their first-round pick. So that's why I needed some explanation. That's all.
It was clarified. Just letting you know.
Clickbait.
Our number 8, probably my hottest take. Maybe my hottest take, but I love it. Joe Tryon goes in the first round.
Yeah, he's been rising up boards. I mean, it's a pretty weak edge class. He's like my 4th or 5th edge right now. I'd love Kwity Paye still. I think that there's 2 edge rushers coming out of Miami that I don't want to name yet. I don't want to keep naming names in case you have something else going on here. Greg writes in Peyton Turner will go before he does, so that's an interesting one. Why do you think Joe's going in the first round with kind of a weaker edge class and some other names up there?
He has a little bit of like a slimmer edge physique, and I think that so in case my latest mock that dropped on Monday, I had Joe Tryon getting taken by the Cleveland Browns. So to me, that's a best case scenario where you have the larger dominant threat of Myles Garrett, and then you bring in Joe Tryon, who's that quicker edge physique that can slide in between people and attack when nobody's looking. I think that's just the best case scenario with it. Cleveland has been able to think of like very creative ways to either disrupt picks or just flat out bomb them. But I think this would be a very underrated first round pick if they were to do it. No.
Don't hate it. I'm just I think that you and Greg should put a bet. Peyton Turner, Joe Tryon, which one goes first? Loser has to shotgun a beer.
It's a good idea.
And I'll be happy to do it regardless because I, unlike Greg, know how to shotgun a beer. So.
That is now the bet, no matter what Greg comes back with.
It has to happen now.
Number 7, Tevin Jenkins will be a goddamn Raider.
Yeah. Greg says virtual handshake. Yeah, I know Tevin Jenkins has been rising up boards. I think that he is a tough, young tackle that a lot of mocks have him going to the Raiders.
It's a Raiders attitude thing, right? Like he fits like a John Gruden guy, like big, mean, nasty, willing to get in people's face and shove them to the dirt. The reason I'm saying this is that he's been linked to us. He's been linked to the Colts, and he's been linked to the Bears by a numerous amount. But I think when all comes said and done, the Raiders will take Tevin Jenkins with their number 17 overall pick.
Yeah, I had a lot of mocks taking them the kid out of TCU, Moehring, the safety. I don't hate that. I think if they are in play for a quarterback, they could move up pretty aggressively to get one of the top 5 towards the end of it. But, yeah, no, I don't hate it one bit.
Yep. And number 6, it seems kind of obvious at this point, but never underestimate this guy. Number 6, the Patriots will trade up, not out. I think the way of how aggressive the Patriots were and Bill Belichick were in free agency makes me very, very willing to believe that Bill Belichick will necessarily stray away from his draft playbook, be able to sink and trade up into the first round, higher in the first round, rather than always trade out of the first round.
What pick do they have now?
They have 15 overall.
15, yeah. Let's say 15 or 12 for some reason. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at 2 franchises that are storied in the NFL that are deciding to do things differently. One is the Pittsburgh Steelers trading up recently in draft, trading a first-round pick for Minka, starting to do things that way. And the other is the Patriots spending the most money they've ever spent in any free agency ever. So I don't hate it. I mean, two regimes that have been historic and kind of stayed in their ways and love it. And Rappaport reported them and the Panthers. Yeah, them and the Panthers are discussing a current trade right now, which would put them in play for a Justin Fields or a Trey Lance.
Right, and also, like I texted the group that there were rumors that a tweet was tweeted and then deleted from the Los Angeles Chargers and the New York Giants. The Giants apparently Chargers were willing to swap picks, and also the Giants to give up a second round pick. So I don't know if that's a clue in to maybe a wide receiver or maybe a offensive tackle, hell, maybe even a corner, because those are all very viable needs. Number 5, I'm glad you didn't name the names, Deke, because This is number 5. Jalen Phillips will be the first edge rusher off the board.
Constant professional. Look alive. That's why I didn't name names.
A lot of people have been seeing some recent, and I'm not slandering, because I know we got into this on Thursday, but I'm not slandering Gregory Rousseau.
Yes,
but his name has been dropping. Kwity Paye, for some reason, has been falling more and more in drafts. I'm not entirely sure why. The latest I actually saw him in the latest one I looked at was that he was taken by the New Orleans Saints, 28, which is very, very odd because normally in the first mocks that have been going out, people had him to the Minnesota Vikings at the 14th spot. But I think that if they want some explosiveness, if they want a kid with attitude, a kid that can get it done, Jalen Phillips out of Miami is that guy. And put him on, because I said this in the draft too. I said this when we did our mock draft on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's a sneaky pick by them, and I think they're more than welcome to do it to improve one of the league's worst defenses.
Yeah, the tough thing is, so he had a wonderful combine. So did, and I can't think of his name right now, the kid out of Penn State, Owu, I think is what it is, Greg. I love a couple edge rushers in this for like a B+ rating. Like Quity's wonderful, with probably the top edge rusher, but hasn't done much lately. Obviously, with no combine, it's tough to see it. Phillips has risen up boards. Rousseau sitting out. Thank you, Jason Oweh, O-W-E-H. Rousseau sitting out for a year kind of messed him up. And then obviously there's a kid out of Georgia who's good. There's a lot of edge rushers in this class. It just pick your poison. And Phillips produced enough this last season without Gregory Rousseau to put himself in the top category.
Right. I just like the kid. I like how he's got that Miami attitude, swagger. I think that's maybe not what Mike Zimmer might be hoping for in a very obviously, I'm trying to look for the term, discipline defense. So, but who knows? Number 4, the Steelers' first round pick will be a running back.
Vo has an interesting question for you. Did you change this one?
Did you change this one?
I did.
I'm more curious why the verbiage change than anything.
I didn't like how it sounded, actually.
Greg says, boo!
The original first round thing that I had was either going to be Harris or Etienne, and then obviously.
Gotcha.
But we know from the Steelers that anything is possible. You could take Javonte Williams for all I know in the first round. All I know is that there's a lot on the board after this that should hopefully gander them getting a center or an offensive tackle, hell, even a corner. Asante Samuel Jr. should be available, obviously, in the second round for them to snag. And then you have that Josh Myers kid, center out of Ohio State, that should be available in the third round if Najee or Travis Etienne were taken in the first of their many picks. I don't know. Now the question is going, we discussed this on Thursday a little bit, who is the better option, Najee Harris or Travis Etienne? Personally, I believed at the beginning that it would be Najee Harris. I think now it's more of Travis Etienne based on his style of pass catch and run out of the back. But I think if we're going to talk about maybe taking a lot more pressure off of Ben, maybe a running, just straight up running. I mean, Najee can catch the ball too.
He has very good hands, but the difference is here. Travis Etienne is an absolute world beater, dimensional running back that needs to be put in the proper system to be the greatest running back, but can survive on any team. Najee Harris is a downhill straight runner that will survive on any team. So the difference here, I mean, I say any team, but then we also see, a majority of scat back coming out of teams like the Chargers with Austin Eckler and things like that. So it's a lot about fit, but if fit doesn't matter, Najee for running, Etienne for all around is kind of how I look at it.
Right. And then obviously, Javonte Williams. But I think if we end up going tackle in the first round, he will be our pick in the second round if nobody else takes him.
Yeah.
Number 3, D, I don't like putting this one, but I think it might be the case. Number 3, Devontae Smith will be the 3rd receiver taken.
Everyone hates Jalen Waddle is my reply to that, but it depends what you consider Kyle Pitts.
It's true. I mean, like a lot of mocks that I have been seeing, Devontae slides all the way to the Eagles. But
Greg says double boo.
Wasn't Waddle hurt at the end of the season last year?
Yeah, but he's with the ball in his hands, Waddle's the best wide receiver out of this class. The ball in the air, Jamar Chase. Everything else, it's Devontae Smith because Jamar Chase took a year off. Devontae Smith is one of the greatest college wide receivers ever already. Like, obviously already his career's done in college, but he had arguably the greatest season we've ever seen in college football out of production and offensive players. So I think Devontae Smith is too highly shit on for his size, but I don't hate it. It depends really what your team needs. If we get to a team that needs a burner, Waddle could go.
Right. I mean, like I said, a lot of mocks that I have seen, there's been a lot of potential of Jamar Chase going to the Dolphins, and then after Detroit, if they don't trade out, I've had a lot of teams take Jalen Waddle there at Detroit instead of Devontae Smith. Now, my mock, I have Devontae Smith in mind because I think he's personally the number 1, number 2 guy in this class. Waddle is definitely 3 for me. But you could have a team like I'll discuss it later. There's obviously a lot that I can discuss. But our number 2 is none other than what we were talking about with this quarterback situation. Number 2, the 49ers will draft Trey Lance. I feel it in my bones, man. I really do that Trey Lance is going to be the number 3 selection. I just don't believe it. I don't believe the Mac Jones smokescreen, even though Kyle Shanahan said that he loved Mac Jones, but then his thing on ESPN say he likes all 5 quarterbacks. Well, that's great. That's really great, Kyle Shanahan, but I think that this is the best spot for Lance to end up, personally.
Here's the main reasons why it's not going to be Lance at 3. One, I believe that Jimmy Garoppolo is a wonderful, wonderful quarterback. I think Jimmy Garoppolo was a throw away from winning a Super Bowl, a throw that is a deep ball. You know what I mean? His biggest issue is that he can't remain healthy on the field. If you really have a quarterback, think about it this way. They have one of the best wide receiver cores. They have the best tight end in football. They have a good, like a top 3 offensive line. One of the best defenses, if not top 5, when healthy. One of the greatest offensive minds as a head coach. A GM that absolutely wants to go above and beyond to do everything to win another or to get to another Super Bowl. You can't take a guy that is a project. That's why it's not Trey Lance. If Jimmy Garoppolo goes down and Trey Lance goes in, you're looking at a guy that started 1 game last year who is an absolute bona fide 100% project. Mac Jones has the best tape in college football last year. He just does. You can say it's because of his receivers. You can say it's because of Jerry Jeudy the year before, Devontae Smith. All these guys that are amazing receivers for Alabama, totally fine. But if you need a guy to play right now, outside of Trevor Lawrence, it's Mac Jones. They cannot risk Jimmy Garoppolo going down and having another season like they did last year.
Well, you also keep in mind with how many other individuals were hurt on that team, but especially.
Well, they lost C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins is more the other. I don't. Let me look at their depth chart real quick, Oz.
I actually don't. Yeah, I think Beathard ended up signing somewhere else. I don't know about Nick Mullins.
He was still an RFA last I checked. So they signed Nate Sudfeld, and I did not know they signed Josh Rosen and Josh Johnson. I mean, meh. So, meh.
I know. I'm tired of, mostly because Chris Sims said it, and I hate him. I hate his guts. I think
he sucks.
I firmly believe, in my own heart, I know I'm going to take a bet on this and I might lose, but I will also take a bet that Mac Jones will go 3 to compensate for all that.
Fun fact, Kevin White is one of their wide receivers.
Practice squad. And then let's hit for our number 1. You're going to see this.
Trevor Lawrence goes first over.
That's a good prediction.
I would think you would think I would be a little bit more understanding than that. I will explain why. Number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles draft Justin Fields.
Greg wrote in the last one, Austin, you're preaching to the choir, but Shanahan's the conductor. I just want to say that was a really good thought-out point. Why?
Epilepsy should never be a reason for a person's draft stock to tank. It should never be.
I don't believe that that's why he's dropping that fair to me.
Yeah, it's just one of the things. It's not entirely the reason.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can argue the same thing with Montez Sweat and the enlarged heart or whatever problem that he had, and then Washington ended up trading up to get him. But with this, I firmly believe for Nick's, Sarah's idiot?
I hate him. Nick Sirianni.
I firmly believe he has no confidence in Jalen Hurts. I firmly believe it. When he was asked, who is your definite starting quarterback, and this could have been a smokescreen, but he said, we're not naming a starter now. It's too early to tell. We have so many guys that want to have a competition and everything with it. The only other guy on this team that's quarterback is Joe Flacco.
Super Bowl winner,
Eli.
Joe Flacco.
Yeah, one hip pointer, old man Flacco, who is the exact opposite style of Jalen Hurts. You rarely see that where a starter and a backup are completely different in their style of play. I think that Justin Fields falls to the point at the number 10 spot. The number 10 spot is when Philadelphia will trade up and take Justin Fields as their guy. I know it's not what anyone wants to hear because I don't want to see Justin Fields in Philly. I don't. I think that's the worst place you could ever be. But
it's not so much that I hate. It's they have one of the worst receiver cores in the NFL. They have one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. They have one of the worst middle linebacker cores. And the reason I bring up all three of those is that there's 3 receivers that deserve conversation. There's 1 middle linebacker, and there's 3 corners. So I don't hate Fields' thought process here. I think that if they were a team that really didn't know who they were going with a quarterback, take Justin Fields 100%. I don't hate that. Do I think it happens? No, but I don't hate the thought process.
The comment made scare me because
yeah, for sure, man.
You literally traded Carson Wentz so that Jalen Hurts could be your guy, and then you tell them straight up in an interview, I don't know who the quarterback is. Mm-hmm. Like that's a huge blow to this. It's almost like the Mitchell Trubisky, Nick Foles thing.
I will say naming a quarterback is just as damning as not naming it for a new head coach. Because that makes Jalen Hurts comfortable and that type of things. I just don't trust this dude, so I don't hate it. I get what he's doing, I guess, is what I'm saying, but I think he's an idiot.
I never trust a guy that bases all of his decisions on rock, paper, scissors, I will say.
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
So it'll be interesting, and same thing with the Lions coach. I'm very interested to see how that whole situation goes, because I really hope that Fields gets – like I said, I thought he would go to the 49ers. Obviously, it doesn't seem like the 49ers have him in their future.
Yeah.
But it could all be smokescreen. I don't know. I would hope Fields would end up on a different team. If New England trades up and Trey Lance is gone, I think this is the perfect opportunity because Justin Fields and Cam Newton have very similar styles to play. It just sucks if you're Jarrett Stidham. It's the fuck, man. Like
Never got a chance, but
he's on a good team.
no, he's not. They were shit last year. He did go to the Super Bowl. But the thing
He
about
has
it
a good
is, Austin,
coach.
you can't convince me that they haven't seen enough of Jarrett Stidham to have known if he deserves a shot or not. That's the tough thing.
We'll give him a shot half the time. He plays like preseason games, and then he says like, "Oh yeah, we have confidence."
Maybe he's not good enough.
We have confidence in Jarrett Stidham. I just don't.
Do you know who that is?
Stidham?
No, who he's doing?
What?
His impersonation.
No. I had no
You're
idea.
literally useless, though.
Sorry. I was responding to somebody.
Austin.
I think it's a very logical situation. I hope it doesn't happen, but it was posted in my latest for obvious various reasons.
Okay, I see what you're doing. There's a lot of comments coming in.
Yeah, I was
now.
trying to read all the comments.
Mutiny Tournament is a whole tournament. Yes, they are. Shout out to the Mutiny Tournament. Austin, I don't hate the predictions that you have going on here. I think that 5 of them will come true.
I mean, like I said, these could all change too by the time of the actual NFL draft, which they won't be these are my predictions. You know, Professor Moorhead, he could have a whole nother thing.
Wouldn't that be something if he predicted the
I hope
opposite
Professor
way?
Moorhead thinks that the ranking is an idiot. That's what I hope. I'll ask him.
He could. He could. I don't know. Again, they show up and this could say Professor Juice. Who the hell knows?
Professor Juice. Wow. I'm here for that.
I really hope they're complete opposite of what he just predicted.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'll write down my FanDuel bets for myself tonight, and then when draft comes, I'll have Professor Moorhead bet different ways.
Are you able to get on bets on FanDuel?
No, I'm assuming that I'll write them down. And didn't FanDuel have like a top 10 thing last year? You got the top 10 picks right?
I don't know.
That's something to check out. I will be.
Yeah, okay. Let me know if you find that, because I was trying to look for where to bet on it, and some website told me that Pennsylvania doesn't have eligibility for it, so I was pissed off. So let me know what you find.
That's pretty lame, but I'll recap. Kyle Pitts, top 5. Number 9, Bengals take Terrence Marshall Jr. in the second round instead of Chase in the first round. Number 8, Joe Tryon goes in the first round. 7, Tevin Jenkins will be a Raider. 6, the Patriots trade up, not out of first round. 5, Jalen Phillips is the first edge rusher off the board. 4, the Steelers' first-round draft pick will be a running back. 3, Devontae Smith will be the third wide receiver taken off the board. Number 2, Trey Lance to the San Francisco 49ers. And 1, the Eagles draft Justin Fields.
I don't hate it.
We'll see how many you get right.
Mutiny writes in Trask to Pittsburgh round 2 or 3, Austin.
Swear to God.
You don't want it to happen?
I don't. I hate Kyle Trask.
And
He
anybody,
kind of reminds me of Ben, though.
Mason Rudolph reminded us of Ben. Look where he's at.
True.
I hate everybody.
Stupid. No, it aggravates me, and I'll end after this, but there's a video channel that obviously did it for likes, but in the first round, they took Kyle Trask for us. And I said, go to fucking hell.
The only reason to do that is for that 5th-year option, and that would be a big mistake.
Yeah, and
Trask is a ginger.
Trask
Austin
is a
doesn't
ginger.
Like gingers.
If I even hear a sound out of Roger Goodell's mouth, I'm smacked. Is Heinz Ward making the pick for us? I didn't know if I saw that or not.
Is he?
No, Heinz Ward is doing Alan Faneca's Hall of Fame induction.
Okay. It just said that he was a presenter, so I didn't know if he was presenting the pick or presenting what. But
nope.
Yeah.
Franco's doing the pick.
Yeah,
that was
Greg
what it
says
was, Greg.
Franco
Yeah.
is.
If I even hear out of Roger Goodell's mouth, I'm smacking his ass. But yes.
What if it's Patrick Mahomes gets traded? Wow.
Wow, yeah.
Heard it here first. Austin hates Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Apparently, I only hate gingers. I don't know.
Fair, good point.
Clipping that.
Thank you, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. wonderful viewers of thoughts from the benches RankKing's court. I will save Derek for trouble because I know he wants to hit that gavel really bad. Not yet.
Not yet. Too early.
Thank you all, and tune into our other content on the daily. Thank you once again. Check us on the NFL draft on Thursday for our draft watch along. You won't want to miss it. Court's adjourned.
Ow, shit. That hurt my hand.
Court is adjourned.